All right, and I think that should do it. I think we are live and going. All right, I hope someone in chat will tell me whether or not the music is okay, or whether or not my the sound is all right, whether or not everything is synced up, and if not, I can maybe switch things around real fast. All right, so this is sort of a part 3, I suppose. We did the last 3 streams I've done have been campaign preps. My last 3 Monday night streams have been campaign preps, and then I live streamed at least one part of the boss battle. We are in Act 3, the final sort of section of my 1.5 year long campaign, and the players are finally getting to the end of everything. Actually, I think that might work a little bit better. So, what's been going on? I think the best thing to sort of start off to do is what happened last session. Well, Her Dothrin was saved. Her Dothrin is the last city of dwarves. It's where one of my players, her 2 dads, live there. And it was the site of a vertice. A vertice is a boundary between the planes that Ser Gladrel is trying to rip open to tear the boundary between the living and the dead. My whole campaign has sort of been a trolley problem, right? Ser Gladrel knows that if you open up these portals, people who died before their time can be brought back to life. Resurrection for the masses. But it comes at a cost. When these portals open, all sorts of demons swarm out. It sort of sucks in the ground around it into the lower hells. All sorts of nastiness. Eventually, Glad thinks we'll be able to find a way to stop all the bad stuff from happening, and everyone will have life for it. Life for everybody. So he thinks this is a trolley problem. He needs to pull the switch to save the 5,000 people at the cost of sacrificing 1,000 right now. Well, at the cost of sacrificing 995, because there are 5 people standing in his way that he needs to kill first. So, he tried to open up the seals at Her Dothrin, and he succeeded. Glad opened the portal, but the players convinced him to go to another portal, and his army was defeated. So Ser Glad's not entirely evil, right? He brought an army with him. He's like, if there's a bunch of demons that are going to pour out, I need to stop that from happening. The problem is the dwarves didn't want an army just busting into their city. But so Glad's army, they burst down the gates of the Dwarven city, killed a bunch of dwarves along the way. But eventually they were stopped. So at the lower halls where Glad was opening the portal, the Dwarven army came in to try to stop him. And he learned that there was another portal. And he learned that his army was defeated and the dwarves are going to stop him. He tried to dominate the dwarf king a few times. So that's another sign that he's really sort of an evil. And then he gave some sort of nasty dialogue. Yes, the players just hit level 13. What's up, Santi? So they know Glad. They almost killed him, right? They got him down to 50 hit points. Glad fled. He's going to find the next portal. My object for this session, this is going to be the last fight they just did was going to be the next to last battle, right? I want the finale of the campaign to come later, which is why I had Glad's army be defeated. If you watched the last session planning on my $1 Patreon, I intended Glad's army to win. But what I realized happened in the moment that once Glad had opened up all these portals, I knew the city was going to get destroyed unless they stopped him somehow. And then they would have no option left. If Glad's army came, the PCs would have to flee, and then there'd be no final battle. That'd probably be the end of it, right? And I didn't really want that to happen. So I had to have his army lose somehow. So that's a question I need to answer right now. Why did Glad's armies lose? Because I want them to pay a price for that. The players have the means to raise an army of their own, and they didn't bring one to the city. So I feel like if the Glad's army just lost for no good reason, that's sort of cheap. So it has to come at a price. So let me think about that. Okay, I'll put that on the shelf for right now. So Glad's fled. He's going to find the next portal that the players told him about. So here's a little bit on that one, right? Glad didn't know about the portal in ice. On Ice Island. "57 enemies? Oh no, that's when I just run mobs. Like that's what I did for this last boss battle. I had I think I ended up having like 5 Dwarf Militia battalions show up, but I ran them all as like a sort of a mob fight. So it was really it was much easier. I posted those rules on my Twitter. They're probably gonna show up in the book too, in the Galder's Gazetteer book, in some form. Glad didn't know about the portals on Ice Island. The PCs told him. So the players should figure out why. Okay. So what are the PC's gold? So this is going to be the last battle right here. Oh, one other thing, right? So we need to find a price. My goal for this fight was to have the PCs end up hating Glad. So the fight lasted almost 2 whole sessions. It was nearly 4 hours long. And PCs went down all the time. When they were up, Glad was trying to kill them. He was trying to knock them into the lava. He was trying to do all sorts of nasty things. But once he downed them, he had downed the Thea, right? He still had 2 attacks left. She was unconscious. He could have finished her off. And I had him like reach back his sword. But then I had to stop myself. Right? I'm a cruel DM. I have no problem killing players. But it didn't feel like something he would do. And here's the thing. Everyone else agreed. They all knew that would seem out of character. And that's how you really know that it's working. That's how you know that things are really going the way that you want. When your players can sort of interpret and understand one of your NPC's point of view and how they would feel. It was a really great moment, saying that no, that would, dishonor him, killing a helpless foe. None of the PCs died. And that is sort of a problem, right? I wanted them to leave this battle really hating Glad. I wanted them to go to this final battle and be faced with a moral quandary, but we'll get to that later. But I wanted them to have them lose. But they convinced Glad to leave before the portal destroyed the city. So that's sort of a win for them. Glad opened up this portal, but then he, shut it down and fled to the one that they told him. So they won in that way. And then they had the dwarf army show up. Because if Glad's army showed up and the portal was open, that would be the end of the campaign. I didn't want it to end quite yet. So they didn't lose that way. But I still want them to have them hate him. And so here's what we're going to do. The price for not bringing their own army, and the price for having not really won this way. When Glad's army came in, he was killing dwarves to try to get down there. The dwarves were trying to stop him. He was trying to bring his army down there. He didn't care who he killed in order to save everybody, right? He's going to pull that lever on the trolley no matter what. So that's why he's the villain. So Thea's dad died. One of Thea's dads died. Thea has 2 dads. She's a dwarf. Being a female dwarf is a recessive trait, and they're non-sexual, so it just works. Yep. So the way these portals work is when they are open, souls can just fly out at will. And then when they're closed again, everyone who was brought back to life dies again. So when the portal is open, so Thea's dad died, and then this was all happened off screen. They're gonna have to reveal this next session. So they're gonna have to find his body. They're gonna have to find someone crying over him. They're gonna have to really hate what Glad did, because if he didn't show up with his army, the dad would still be alive. That's the price. So the portal opened. So when Glad's army came in, okay, I should write this all out for myself, right? So I don't mess up the chain of events. Okay. Glad's army killed dad. in way down, in fight down. Down to Demon Portal. So, and after that, right, then when Glad was already down there, he opened the portal. The player saw this bit, which means Thea's dad came back for a second. And that's a little extra tragedy right there, right? Her other dad's going to see his partner lying there, dying, have died, and then come back just for a minute, just enough time to say goodbye before Thea herself caused the portal to be closed. And that's how we're going to get them right in the guts, right? And that's the way you really challenge and play with high-level characters, right? You just stick your knife in their hearts and you keep twisting it. Thea closed the portal, or caused the portal to be closed. Then Dad died again. And that's how they're going to want to kill Glad. Okay. And so the big finale of the campaign, when they get there, is going to be Glad opened the portal on isolated Ice Island. Where no one died. He found a way to stop demons from coming out. Why? I forgot this part up here. Something else that happened was Glad ran away with the bishop. She was encased in stone for most of the fight. She got broken up, and then Glad resurrected her, put her in the back of the griffin, and flew off. Glad kidnapped the bishop. Well, Glad and the bishop were friends until they started fighting at the start of this last fight. What is high level? So my characters are 13th level right now. What I consider high level is probably, I would say anything above like a 10th level is probably high level play, right? Because that's when I think a lot of DMs start feeling less and less comfortable. The players can, speak with their gods to get answers. They're bordering on, some teleportation spells, things like that, right? So I think that's where, once you get access to 5th and 6th level spells, I think that's where a lot of DMs feel things sort of go off the rails. But I don't really feel that way. But that's the subject of probably another video. Okay. Yes, he has a custom stat block. We designed it a couple streams ago, and it's on the $1 Patreon. So speaking of which, these streams probably get around 500 views, and if everyone watching it joined the $1 Patreon, I'd be able to pay for an editor for my main videos, and be probably about double the rate we put them out. But something to think about. Okay. So this is what the finale of the campaign is going to be like. But between what happened and the finale, there's going to be some stuff we have to develop. Okay. So Glad opened the portal in an isolated island. No one died. He found a way to stop the demons from coming out. So no one got hurt. He brought Dame Marion back to life. "20 years ago, Dame Marion died in an attempt to save the realm from a tyrant dragon. So, she sacrificed her life for the greater good. And now she finally gets to come back, and she's also Glad's daughter. Convenient. But the players will want revenge for killing Thea's dad and having the ring Huck and Effie want." That's not how you spell Effie's name. It's Aoeffie. to fix the blight and revive the Tezek elves. And this is going to be the final confrontation, right? That Glad finally got his people are coming back to life, and he's doing it for farm kids too. He's bringing back peasants who died. All was good in the hood. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. So here's the thing, Koyotan. Like, normally, this is a lot more prep than I would normally do. Normally, these things are sort of like running through my head, and maybe I'll just sort of jot things down. This is more to show you folks my thought process. I'm trying to figure out what the story is going to be, or not really what the story is going to be, but probably some key scenes that I want to have happen. And the in-between is all sort of up to the players. Although I will say that because this is like the very, very end of the campaign, the story has a lot of momentum behind it. So it's a lot easier to predict little things that are going on. But still have to be open up to surprises. Like, I did not, if you watch the last two streams, I did not really think that this was the end, where we would end up. I was sure that Glad was going to kill one of the players, that he was not going to be able to open the portal, that he was going to be able to run away. Lots of those sorts of things. So I was still surprised and had to improvise a little bit for this outcome. But I think there's still enough momentum and enough... I think the plot has enough volition of its own at this point that I can confidently say some key things that are going to happen. You got to go to hell. Yes. So that is something that needs to happen between here and there, right? The in-between. So how did Glad end up doing all this stuff anyway, right? Glad is a real hero. He saved the realm from a tyrant dragon 20 years ago, and he gave all his treasure to the church, right? He could have lived a very privileged life, the son of a noble, and just inherited a nice house and chilled and had all the maidens, but instead he lived a life of danger and, as far as everyone can tell, a life of charity. So, on one of Ser Glad's adventures, he killed Faurine. Whose real name is Nadira. She is a Rakshasa. And she wants revenge. So Faurine right here, she is the real villain. She's a Rakshasa, high-level demon, devil. And she set Ser Glad up for all this. The players were pawns in getting Glad the ability to open up these portals. She knew that he would stop at nothing, do all sorts of evil acts to be seen as a hero. And so she's the one who wants the players to kill Ser Glad. In fact, they were so desperate in that boss fight, they called out and asked for her help. And as a result, they captured his helmet. Glad's helm is a special magic item that made him immune to divination spells and things that would read his thoughts. So that's why they've been having such a hard time tracking him and not understanding where he was going. But now they have that, so they can track him down at any time. Love a bit of revenge. Yes, that's exactly it. So Faurine Nadira has been... or sort of orchestrating this whole thing, right? She wants to get Glad just evil enough that when the players go around and kill him, he will go to hell and she can torture him for all eternity. That's her revenge for cutting off her ear. So, but the players know that Faurine is evil now, so they're going to want to go to hell. So we need to have a scene. The last time they were in hell, they drove off the demon lord Bel with Glad's help. Glad was trying to get Bel to strike a deal to keep the portal free from demons, but the players and Ser Glad sort of killed Bel together. Something like that. Chased Bel off. So Faurine inherited Bel's tower in hell, and she's going to taunt the players from there. Why is she going to taunt the players from there? So the players know where she is. So when the players want to go kill her, they have that option. And she's going to taunt them with it too, right? Thanks for the digs. Because if it weren't for the players' actions in chasing off Belle, she wouldn't have got that sweet, sweet tower. Okay, so that needs to happen. The other promise that I made with the players is they need to learn how to fix the blight. I made them that promise, right? Like they both put this, two of my characters, Huck and Effie, sort of put this in their backstories. That Effie is a scholar trying to figure out and study the blight, and Huck was a member of an order of knights whose job it was to keep the lore of the Tezek elves secret and sort of protect the world from the blight. Dothrin for her. Allison, I'm glad you can join us. That's awesome. John, thanks for subbing to my Patreon. That's super, super cool. Okay. So since you folks are here, I think I need to do a little bit of lore dumping right here. What the blight is. So raise your hand if you've ever played Morrowind. Same idea. My 2 campaigns ago, it was another long campaign. They basically played through the plot of Morrowind. That there is this evil artifact, the heartstring of a god that is strung on a loom, that has the power to weave reality. And the one sort of corrupted Tezek elf got really sort of xenophobic and I don't know, something like that. And he wanted to turn everybody into the perfect, these divine beings. So he tried to use the loom to do that with these magic tools. Boom. But instead he turned all the elves into pillars of salt. And now there's a disease spreading out from the jungle where they live that has the ability to infect everybody and turn them into snakes. Thank you, Viper. I really appreciate that. So, the players just learned how the blight came to be. No, they didn't learn that. What they learned, I have to be careful here about this. So what they know and what they need to know. That's what I need to figure out, how they're going to find it. They know about the loom to make gods. But really, that's not what happens. It actually kills you. And they learned about the artifacts. They learned about the tools. And Glad has one. And the rival has one. And they have one. Okay. And that's sort of another loose end that I probably need to figure out, right? What's going to happen with this rival party? You know what happened with the rival party? They are the reason why Glad's army lost. That's sort of the price, right? They don't get all the glory. They have to share it with their rivals. Yup. And why did the rivals show up? They were sent by Cathra, who is a minor noble that they're somewhat aligned with, and that will make sense. Awesome. Cathra is loyal. She's a good woman. She would have heard the dwarves were in distress, and she would have sent help. Okay. So the rival party, they can tell about how to stop the blight with the team's help, with the hero's help. Go on a secret mission to the Sunken Temple. Okay, you know what? We can do that. We can do an interlude mission. We can say, okay, in order to stop the blight, you come with us and do this thing. And then they'll get the knowledge. And that would wrap that all up nicely. There's not a whole lot of work involved there. So that's possible. Let's think about this. Ooh. Do you have any advice about how to make the villains seem more like misguided people? That's the plot of my campaign. So yeah, give them a real flaw here, right? What Ser Glad's thing is, right? Like everyone understands the trolley problem, right? That there's a trolley going down one lane, there's 5 people tied on the tracks, but you could pull the lever and switch it to only kill one person and save the 5. That's what Glad's doing, right? From his point of view, it's very clearly what he's doing. But what makes him evil is he's doing it so he looks like a hero. He's doing it because it'll make him seem cool, like he's the good guy. And he doesn't care about all the people he's sacrificing along the way. He feels no pity for the one person tied up on the track because he thinks that because he is powerful, he gets to make all those decisions, never mind anybody else. It's not what he wants, it's what he's willing to do it. That's what makes a bad guy an anti-villain. Okay, so I need to think about this bit, right? So they need to figure out some way to stop the blight, but I need to make it not just a gimme, right? I don't want the rival party to just show up and say, here, go on this mission to do it. Because there's another little wrinkle here, right? And this little, so yeah, this in-between is really going to be, I guess, the bit about Faurine and then the bit about the blight. So Huck broke his oath. Huck is a paladin, and he swore an oath to keep the lore of the Palmers secret. And what the Palmers do is they protect the knowledge about what happened to the elves, right? They think that, oh my gosh, if you have knowledge of the loom, if you have knowledge of these tools, someone else can get them and destroy a whole nother group of people. So as long as no one understands this, as long as we keep this secret, everyone's keep safe, right? They are like Oppenheimer, right? If they had the knowledge of nukes, they would freaking, bury it and never tell anybody. So, Jack, in my world, Yuan-Ti are special, right? It's not the ones from the book. Yuan-Ti are a group of humans who used to live in the Blackfire jungle. The Tezek elves found out that they were trying to use this loom to turn themselves into gods. The Tezek elves found that completely disgusting, and they made war against them. The Yuan-Ti, by that time, they were trying to become gods themselves, so they started developing all these snake-like features, and they tried one more time to really become super gods, and they destroyed themselves, turned into pillars of salt. And then the Yuan-Ti hero, what she did was, instead of keeping that information secret and destroying this profane artifact, she decided to use it on herself and become a goddess, which in the long run doomed all the Tezek elves. And they're all pillars of salt. So the elite Palmers, the elite order of folks that Huck belongs to, they know all this lore, but they're trying to keep it all secret. Huck, at the start of the campaign, he only knew a very, very little bit, but he broke his oath, and he told Effie, because Effie was studying what happened to them. Effie wants to stop that from happening. She thinks if she knows what went on, she can stop it from happening again. And eventually she persuaded Huck that was the way to do. Hey, one of my patrons is checking this out. That's awesome. All right. So Huck is no longer going to be a paladin. He's going to be a warlock. And this is where I think we're going to bridge this gap between the need to learn how to fix the blight. At the same time, I don't want to have just the rival party tells them exactly what to do. There needs to be, I need to create some tension in there. And I think this is how it's going to do it. So I talked to this player over the weekend, and he's going to be a warlock with a pact with regret. Regret. In my setting, fiends, archfey, all these things that are not quite gods, they are powerful emotions and sort of like abstract nouns that are expelled from the gods. When a god or a divine figure experiences sort of like an overwhelming feeling, it will get like ripped out of them and become this entity of its own. So he's literally become the personification of regret. I do have a book coming out, John. I am Galder's Gazetteer. Long story, but yeah, it's a huge expansion for 5th edition. The playtest packets are all over my channel in the description. There's dozens of archetypes, all sorts of good stuff. All right. So Huck is going to be with Regret. And what does Regret want to do? Well, Regret is from Ser Gladrel, the Black God. And that's the one whose heart is inside the jungle that started this whole mess to begin with. A part of one of his heartstrings. Actually, I have the prop right over there. Okay. And Regret that the noble lizards of Blackfire are suffering under the blight. Okay. So if Huck makes a pact with this, sort of forlorn demon, then he will be able to... Okay. So both his patron and Huck sort of want the same thing. Does that work? Yeah. So but I think the tension here is that Huck used to be of the green goddess Gaia. She's feminine usually. But now Black Demon is after him. And this works. Why Regret? Because Huck is forlorn. And Regret is in one of the altars. Part of Regret. One of the altars that was lit up to sort of open up this portal to hell. The players have known all along that the demon of Regret was sort of connected to one of these altars. So it all makes sense. La 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 la. He's gonna level up and hear the voice from the altar, get a pact with there. Beautiful. Okay. So I still need to link these two together, right? How is what knowledge do they need, right? Let's do it that way, right? They need to know where the last piece of the loom is. The loom gets capitalized, come on. And they need to know a draft. Oh my gosh. Okay, right? So, they need to find a map to the City of the Glass Pool, too. Which is the glowing map that you find in the Lost Mines of Phandelver, Matt Perkins, if you're still watching. In the Lost Mines of Phandelver, in the final dungeon, in this like the spell book, there's like a glowing map and things. It says it's a map to a location that you discover or you decide, sort of to get new DMs to sort of start inventing on their own, sort of like a hook to say make your own dungeon. And that is in my world. I've already used that map, and it's the map to the City of the Glass Pool. I use it to kick off the next campaign. They need to find a way to get to this place underneath the Dread Lake. And do a draft to stop the blight. They can try to do it themselves. And they're never actually going to get there, right? They're not powerful enough to actually stop the blight. But I want them to be able to... Hey, what's up, Badger? Hey, thanks, Sandshock. I appreciate that. All right. Okay. And so somehow we're going to have to connect these two things right here. I do not have an answer right this very minute, right? Somehow this demon of regret wants Huck to stop the blight, and somehow the rival party, they know what the party needs to know, or something like that. All right, let's think about this. Okay, piece by piece. So regret can tell Huck more of the story. Because they don't know the whole thing now. And with that story, they can learn of Silver's Temple. Maybe? No. Because regret is a demon of the black god. He probably wouldn't be able to see that far. Regret can tell Huck. Yes. So the real reason why they are not able to actually stop the blight is because none of them are the chosen one. This was a theme of one of the last campaigns. That's probably a whole video right there, how to run a good chosen one campaign without alienating the rest of the players. Because it can be done. You can tell Huck of Navrig. Navrig is going to be the reincarnation of the ancient hero. Rig, he can tell Huck of the hero that will stop the blight. Or could. / is able. He can also tell Huck of the threat from the gnome Yuan-Ti. So, this is another little subplot that the players haven't really figured out yet. And this is probably willing thing of attention, right? This is another big thing that they haven't figured out. They've been sort of tiptoeing around it here. They had clues, but I don't think they've pieced it together yet. So part of this whole curse of the blight and this idea of these tools of the loom that it makes you really, really proud is sort of like a racist infection, right? You become sort of a fascist for your own people, and you want to make some sort of this perfect version of yourself, and this perfect version is somehow a snake. So they've been coming across rarely these gnomes who are starting to grow teeth and fangs and have slits for eyes. And they're not really sure what that means. They're not really thinking about it. But what that means is that these gnomes are starting to feel this pull to use these tools of the loom to themselves become these sorts of things. Yes. So Huck can learn that the gnomes of Her Dothrin have started to transform. There we go. Which means, okay. So they can fight. That'll be a fun encounter for a high-level party. They can fight through a nest of Yuan-Ti. Okay, so yep. This is probably how the session's going to go, right? Probably the rival party is going to do some dialogue with them first. Nope, they'll probably learn the dad died first. They'll probably do some stuff with Huck and becoming a warlock. Then they'll meet up with the rival party probably and sort of get started on this B plot. All right, I like this. And then they'll go on this mission. They'll find out where the gnome Yuan-Ti are, why they need to stop them because it's related to the blight, which is their other story. They can fight through a nest of Yuan-Ti and find Navrig? Maybe find a map They'll find something, find some MacGuffin to further the plot. You know what? I don't really think I need to do that right now, because fighting through this nest of yuan is going to be more than enough for them. So real fast, let's design this little nest of yuan. I'm feeling like in a good mood. I think that'd be kind of fun. Okay. Ooh, so what sort of things we find in a yuan nest? So, let's just start with the boss fight here. So the boss is going to be a tank. The boss needs a caster next to him. I actually think my yuan Fest is a female. Boss need a caster next to her. So let's see now. What else is the boss gonna need? We need some things to absorb damage. Okay, cool. So things that absorb damage. All right. I don't really feel like pulling up the monster manual right now, but maybe I'll have these things be, and then we need to have something on the train. Okay, so it's going to be a high CR, high damage. No, high AC, medium hit points. Boss needs to be next to the caster. Needs to be low AC. High saves. Protected from range. And this is going to be our artillery. All right. All right. So it hides behind boss. Okay, cool. And that's how we're going to get it protected from range. Just going to step behind the boss, gain that AC boost. Absorb damage. These are going to be little yuan minions. And enough to cover the progression. We make a little wall of these folks, so the players are going to have to fight through them. Say like maybe ×6 ? When I actually get out my minis and make the dungeon out, I'll know how many of these folks I need. Minions, they're gonna be super minions. They're high level characters. That means minions, they're gonna take 2 hit points or 2 hits to kill. And let's do something fun here. Snakes come out of the walls, like in that Indiana Jones temple. There are swarms of snakes. Of poison snakes. Okay. Cool. So this is going to be the boss room. But we need something that happens right before the boss room, right? Because... This needs to go somewhere else. This needs to go with the rival party. Okay. Okay, so before you get there, see, I've already ran that trap from Xanthar's Guide, but I think some sort of puzzle would be nice, right? Or some sort of thinking barrier, something that they can't. Hold on, I think my chat went dead here. I want to put something. They can move around rock pretty easily, and we've done a lot of lava that was already here. So they can have a garbage monster. It's a known fact that the gnomes live in the garbage pit. shucks. Maybe I'll check out Wally's channel. He has a whole channel full of puzzles. But I want to put some sort of a... Or you know what else I'm going to do? I have that one adventure. I'm going to look in the Lost Temple of... Was it Tezerekon? Whatever one is in Tales from the Yawning Portal. Okay. Yeah. I like both of these things. Will be two sort of thinky bits ahead of time. One puzzle, one trap. And then they'll have this big old boss fight in here. And then they're going to have to do it to get MacGuffin for regret. Because Set Ra don't like seeing folks twisted. Is that true? No, Set Ra does like seeing folks twisted. So this isn't Set Ra's doing, right? The fact that folks get twisted for sort of misusing his heart and misusing his purpose is why he's doing this whole thing. So it can't be regret that sends him off on this task. So it has to be the rival party. So the rivals know of the Yuan T nest. They don't know any of this crap. Why are they here? To get the Yuan T nest. And the MacGuffin. Didn't you know? It was right under your nose the whole time. See, that's why you hate the rival party. Okay. Cool. And so I think regret will probably tell them of this stuff, right? Regret can teach them that there is a blight or the piece of the loom or the map to the city of the glass pool. This is what regret can show them. How to find the map in the sunken temple. Okay. Yeah. Nope. He can't tell Huck of this. No. Okay. Very, very, very cool. Shoot. What is Wally's thing? Oh, shuck. I think it's just Wally DM. He's a really cool guy. He has a whole channel devoted to different D&D puzzles and traps. I think they're really, really useful. I've used a few of them. And he's a cool dude, so check that out. All right. So I think I have a good idea of what's going to unfold next session. We have a few really dramatic bits, right? They're going to have to find this price right here, right? One of Thea's dads died in that last battle. When Glad's army was rushing into the city, trying to, force dwarves to accept this portal against their will, to sacrifice the dwarves so that everyone else might live down the road against their will. When his army was crushing the dwarves who were staying in his way of doing the thing that he wanted to do, one of Thea's dads died. And they are going to hate him for that. They're going to realize that they need to get to Forine. They're going to learn... Yeah, Forine's going to taunt them. And tell them to go kill Glad. That the players also need to learn, they need Forine's help to kill him. He's too strong. The only reason they didn't die is because Glad chose not to kill them when they were down. Right? And that he was preoccupied with doing other things like opening the portal. Glad could have easily killed them if he so chose. And then Huck's gonna have his sort of confession that he's a warlock now, and he's gonna learn some things about the blight. The rival party is gonna show up and say, "Yo, I know where these Yuan T are. The gnomes. They're gonna make the blight even worse. They're gonna make it over here. You didn't know about this? They're gonna feel dumb." and then maybe they're going to the UNT nest, and all the time they're going to think about this finale. Or they could ignore this whole plot, say, screw that, we'll do that later, and go right after Glad. And if they do, if they go right after him, they're going to have to deal with... They're going to have to deal with Sigrid. Hey, hey! Could you record or stream the game session? I don't know, because to tell you the truth, right, I streamed my last session. It was kind of stressful on the players. They knew they were being recorded. They had to feel like they felt a lot of pressure to censor themselves or maybe not act as natural as they could. And I think it suffered for it. That could just be like me overanalyzing it. But I'll talk to them. But the next session is going to be mostly just roleplay. I don't think anything really dramatic is going to happen. Unless you want to hear people just say, oh no! Which maybe you will. Okay. Lady Sigrid. She's the last sort of piece of this puzzle that the players might want to clean up here. So Sigrid is... If you ever go to a convention with me and play a game with me, you might meet Lady Sigrid. She is an NPC in an adventure I like to run, where she is sort of a warrior princess. And she has Dame Marion. Body frozen in ice. The players know it's there. They might head there to try to just cut her off. And what's she going to do? Nothing. She doesn't owe the players anything. But what does she want in case she does? She wants the orcs destroyed. A grotto gone. So there's a massive orc encampment between sort of the Northlands and this other area of the world. And no one's been able to pass it for a very, very, very long time. So that might be a little quest to go down. Okay. Cool. Yeah, in my setting, orcs are monsters. They are not people. They literally do not have empathy. It's impossible for them to feel that way. Hey, thank you, Tyson, for stopping by. I really like that Avatar video. It's definitely one of my favorites. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay. And if they go this route, we can figure that out later. Okay, yeah, that's good. I think I have enough to work on here. I think I have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen. I think I have a really good idea of some of these pain points. How they're going to react to what happened last session, recover from that boss battle, feel the pain of their shortcomings. Huck is going to go on a sort of a side journey that's going to open up to sort of tie up some of these loose ends here with the rival party and Effie and Huck's quest to find out how to end the blight. They have sort of a moral quandary with Faurine. Help a demon kill someone that doesn't really like. And when they find Glad at the very end, this is going to be a nice setup. Everything's going well for him. He's holding a portal open that's bringing the dead back to life and nothing's going wrong. Killing him is going to do nothing but bring pain to these other people. And that's how I want the campaign to end. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. Oh, wow, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. The stream will be live for 24 hours, and then after that's going to be on my $1 Patreon, where for $1 you get access to everything. These notes, all of my streams, some of my other thinkings and writings, just everything I do for RPGs. If everyone who watches this stream, went ahead and became a patron, I'd be able to pay for an editor for my videos and be able to pump out twice as much content. So that'd be really nice. But right now, all the Patreon money is going towards the book, and all the book's going towards charity. And if that changes, I'll be sure to let folks know. So if you have any thoughts on this, be sure to let me know in the comments below.